Okay, let's start, right? Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Pawan, and uh, happy to be here. And this interaction is going to be uh, around market research. We are going to understand what market research is, and then we'll talk about how we can use it to kind of test our ideas and validate our ideas which we're working on. So it's a great help when you are wanting to start building a business. It helps you validate a lot of things at the start without risk. So we're going to understand what it is, what is the process, and how we can leverage that. So who are the audience students? These four. Okay. So if I ask question, then these four people are expected to answer. Yeah, yeah, sure, of course. Okay, why are we doing a startup? Why are we intending to build? Just a question. Is there somebody online? If there's no, then I can just walk and talk to these four. There are. Okay. ठीक है, no problem. So why are you doing a startup? What kind of motivates you to work on an idea or a commercialization thing? Yeah.
For me, it was because the things we were doing were not done by others, and we needed an opportunity to showcase our skill in a particular field that was not given by any other company or so, like the products we are making, etc.
Okay, so you could learn better by doing a startup.
We could showcase our what we are building. Like for example, we build a product and we wanted to have an audience that can use it, to have a group of people that can have access to this product, and we were not getting directly a way for it to be happening in which we can get a monetization also. And
Okay.
then that was a pretty obvious gateway key that we have to build a
Startup and do it. Okay. Okay.
PPT is not being shared.
Is it?
That is because of the HDMI cable. On the WebEx itself, it's not getting.
No, I have shared. No. Share.
I suggest you do entire screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Yeah. And now you switch to the PPT itself. Now it's
Is it visible? Okay, fine. Okay. Anyone, you have an answer? Want to try?
solve the problem.
To solve some problem. Okay. Which problem? Do you have a problem or do you want to find a problem and then solve it?
Right now we're working in a sustainability technology, and there's a problem of pollution in plastic. So that's the problem we're trying to solve.
Okay. Okay. Great. So I'm sure you would have some reasons to start. It could be passion to solve a problem. It could be drive to make a lot of money. It could be maybe you have a technology which can be commercialized. So it could be any reason which you are taking to run a startup. But just that, whatever is your reason, you need to be prepared for that journey. It needs certain kind of preparation. You can't only idea would not make you successful. It has to be implemented. So that kind of brings us to what kind of preparation do you need to run a startup? Three things. First, you need to prepare your mind. So there is a mindset which is important for running a business, for doing a startup. So you need to have a prepare your mind. So I'll talk about what does that mean, what kind of shift it means. Second is to prepare your family, because this is a long and tough journey. Doing a business is not easy. It has a lot of financial, emotional, physical risks. So you need your family support to be around. And third, of course, it needs money. So you need to plan your career, your finances. If it needs funding, where would it come from? How would you sustain yourself for period of years which you would spend? So these are three kind of preparations which I believe I kind of are important when you start off the journey. Broadly, some tips which kind of I uh, would summarize. while you're preparing, this is what you can start with. Maybe 6 months, 1 year prior to starting a business, you could start doing some of these things. First is consume right content. So you need to start following right people, read about business, read about, watch people, blogs, podcasts, whatever kind of content is available for right kind of people. So you start getting that mindset when you are listening and talking to such people. Second is health and hygiene. As I said, it's tough emotionally and physically. You need certain uh, kind of stamina to sustain this. So you start focusing on your health and hygiene to become stronger. Managing your mind, it would have kind of periods of lot of frustration, lot of tension, lot of stress, lot of anxiety. So need certain kind of preparation of mind. So maybe you need to train your mind to be calm, to focus and do deep work kind of thing. Value time. Mostly we think that we need money to start a business, but in all probability, you need much more time than money to run a business. So you have to, because you would be doing maybe 20 things when you are running a business. So you need certain kind of time management skills to do it. Then network and relationships. Of course, you need to be a certain kind of person socially. You need certain kind of connects. You need certain kind of relationships to sustain communication, because you would be talking to customers, you would be hiring people, you would be managing employees, you would be meeting a lot of people, suppliers, vendors. So you need certain kind of communication skills. Then you need to maybe start observing businesses. You need to start understanding how business works. If you're not from a professional degree, say MBA or a business degree, then you would need a lot of functional knowledge from management. What is HR? What is finance? What are the terms which are used? What is supply chain? What is logistics? Those kind of. And lastly, be trustable. You need a lot of credibility because you would be building a lot of relationships. So you need certain kind of trust which people can put on you. And learn frugality, because you uh, will always be short of money as much as you get. So you need certain kind of frugality to spend it wisely and judicially. So these are small behavioral preparations which you need to do before you really jump on the idea and kind of start doing it. Okay, now we come to the topic which is market research. What role market research has to play and how it can help you. Any idea what is MR? Have you heard this term before? Do you know what it is? People who are online, you can also please raise hand. I can't see you because I'm on slideshow mode, but you can unmute and speak if you want.
Market research basically we are searching the customer trends, what do customers actually want, and is there a market what we're trying to sell, and that's it, and how we will scale our technology.
Right. So it's to know your customer maybe and know your market. Okay. Know your competition.
Basically, the environment in which you're going to operate.
In the environment which you're going, the ecosystem, you want to understand what all happens. Anything else?
Know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself. Maybe meditation would help, not market research.
Know your product, know your business,
Yeah.
know your processes.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
What is the customer requirement that we can know?
yes, it can tell you what customer requires. So, a lot of things. A very broad definition. What is MR? It's a systematic and objective collection of data to answer a question of your business, right? If I put it very simply, you are answering questions in your business in a systematic and a scientific way, right? Now, what that way is, we'll come to that. We'll understand some method, but broadly, it is be objective. There should not be any bias, or there should not be there should not be any prejudices, or uh, like you should be very very objective and scientific in your approach. So that's what would define MR. Now, what can MR do for you? You have answered some of these things, but broadly, it can help you know what is already selling. So, who your competition is. It can tell you what is the landscape looks like. It can help you gauge interest if you have developed a new product which doesn't exist. It can help you do a quick dipstick study to understand if there is interest. You can start thinking about price. It can tell you what is the affordable price sensitivity kind of thing. So you can know that. If you're into tech, maybe you could find potential licenses. It can help you understand what can be, who can use your product. It can help you understand the competition. Maybe you can understand what is the USP of competition. Maybe somebody is selling on price, maybe somebody is selling on brand, somebody is selling on distribution. So you could know what is the USP and get a competitive edge. Maybe you could avoid infringement, patent violations if you know the competition well.
Slides are not visible.
And slides are not visible.
I think it is unshared.
But why is it happening to me? No slide was visible, or the last slide? Okay.
Now it's fine.
It's visible now?
Visible.
Okay, so these are broad questions which MR can help you answer. Just to again summarize in form of marketing landscape, what can MR do? It can help you know the customer, employees, shareholders, suppliers. All these stakeholders can be gauged better. It can help you do certain kind of marketing management. You can segment market, you can select the right target, you can make marketing programs, sales programs, and you can do a lot of performance management of marketing campaigns. So these are some broad areas which MR can do, but certain areas which are not in control would be externalities like economy, technology change, laws and regulations. So these might be very different. Now, what are broad categories of MR? So there is a theoretical uh, grouping of MR thing, which is like, we'll come to that also: exploratory, descriptive, prescriptive. There are certain type of MR which is used. But I have kind of tried to bucket it into two categories, which are categories in terms of utility of MR. One is problem identification research, and second is problem solving research. So you could use MR to identify a problem in your business. Maybe say your sales are not growing, right? Or maybe your quality control is not working well. Maybe your attrition in a company is very high. Maybe your market share is not increasing in the market. Maybe your profitability is not growing. Maybe your cost is high. So there could be any problem which exists in your business. So you could use MR to identify that problem. Various methods exist. Second is problem solving, which is where you know the problem, you know what is happening, and you want to solve it. You want to go to the reason of that thing, right? Maybe uh, say you have your lot of products are being rejected, right? You have a lot of maybe rollbacks of the product, but now you know why is it happening? Is it Is the problem with the transportation? Is the problem with the manufacturing? Is the problem in the selling? There's some gap. So you could use, uh, you know, MR to do a lot of A/B testing of solutions, where you could segment a lot of market kind of customer segments. You could do A/B testing of promotional offers. So you design two type of offers and you want to see which is working well. You could do those kind of testing. You could do a lot of pricing experimentation, where you want to launch a product on different price points and see which maximizes profitability. So broadly, you could identify a problem with MR, and second, you could solve a problem with MR. Then there are certain type of designs which can be deployed in MR, which is kind of now this is a little bit on kind of concepts in MR, broad theory of MR, which is you could have exploratory kind of research where you are not sure of the problem, you are not very clear of what questions you have, but you want to understand any field in more depth. So you're doing a little bit of exploratory research. Second is conclusive research, where you have a very clear question which you want MR to answer for you. Let me explain these three in brief. So exploratory, descriptive, and causal. Now, exploratory, like I said, where you want, say you are very new to the field, say you are developing say you are a chemical engineer and you have recently come across a chemical which can create a very high quality, say, packaging material, right? Say maybe you have invented a different kind of packaging material, but you don't understand the market. You have never been in business. You want to do a exploratory research. You want to understand what kind of materials exist, what is the supply chain, who are the manufacturers, what kind of price point they sell at, what is the cost of setting up. You want to know everything about the business. So that's called exploration. You're exploring the field, right? So there you would deploy exploratory kind of research design. Second could be, say, Apple wants to launch a product in India. Say it doesn't exist in India as of now, and they want to enter Indian market. Any company, say from US or Japan or Germany. So they would maybe understand what kind of customer India has, what are the price points at which they buy, what are the behavior patterns, what are the buying patterns, what kind of distribution, everything which you need to know about a market. So they would probably do a exploratory kind of research. Second is descriptive and causal. Descriptive is where you want to very clearly define the market characteristics. So you want to define what is the size of market, what is the growth rate of market, what is the what are the top 5 players, what is their market share, what is the last 5 years CAGR kind of thing. So in areas where you have very clear cut questions to be answered, you deploy descriptive kind of question. Third is determine the causal kind of research. It is to determine cause and effect, where you want to understand something is happening, you know the effect, you want to know why it is happening. Say your market share is dropping for last 5 years, so you want to know why it is dropping. Is it because your product is of lower quality? Is it because a new kind of competition has come in? Is it because your distribution is less? So you're trying to understand cause of a problem which exists in your business. So these are three type of research in terms of their objective. Any questions so far? Yeah.
I want to know about exploratory research. Uh, what methods can be used? Are you going to cover it later on?
Yeah, so I can talk about it briefly. Exploratory is quite open type of research because you don't have a very clear defined problem. You would most likely use qualitative methods of research. Qualitative means you would, so there are two types of methods, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative means where you are doing a discussion with a person. It could be an interview with a customer one-on-one, right? It could be a interview with a shopkeeper who is, say, your distributor. So mostly the method would be talking to somebody and collecting first-hand information. So that's one. Second could be secondary research method, which is like reading literature. Maybe you're reading reports on the market, whatever literature exists on the market. So qualitative methods are broadly where you don't have a structured questionnaire kind of format. You are talking to a person, and from the questions and discussions, you are knowing more and more. Say I'm a shampoo company, and I come to you. I ask you, do you use shampoo? You say, yes, I use shampoo. Then, which brand do you use? When do you buy? Where do you buy from? How much do you buy per month? So this way, I keep asking you. Then once you answer, I keep cross questioning. So these kind of methods would be used. And descriptive and causal would be more structured. Like maybe you will have a questionnaire and you will ask the respondents to fill and kind of fixed questions. You want answers. You are not open to new questions, kind of thing.
So in my case, I'm aware of education industry, healthcare industry, but now I'm dealing in a sustainability environment industry, and now the engineering, manufacturing is involved, and I don't know anything about it. And the scientist that's built the technology is based out of Chennai, so there is very less, personal interaction. So that was my concern. So how am I gonna go forward?
So you want, what is your purpose of, you want to know about the market, customer? What is your objective?
About the market.
Yeah. So, and who is your customer?
So
What is your product?
it's a film bin machine that makes eco-friendly and edible packaging material. So there are two options. First, we can sell a product in a B2C market where we are selling the packaging material. For example, the ice cream. We have the ice cream cone, edible cone. Second thing would be the technology, the machine that is making the products. That is a patented machine, and then we can sell in a B2B market to the companies, the big companies that require machines for their packaging material. So that's the market.
So the research for both would be separate. So when you are doing for B2C, then you would identify potential customers for your product. Say let's say ice cream. If you're preparing a edible packaging for ice cream, maybe you would talk to some customers who buy uh, these kind of products. Now, if your goal is sustainability, your differentiating factor is sustainability, you will have to define your customer, right? Not everybody who buys ice cream would care about sustainability. It will be certain type of people, maybe people who are, if I were to just think uh, from my common sense, I would say people who are educated, who are environmentally conscious, who have uh, paying capacity, because if this packaging might be expensive than normal packaging, which might lead to higher cost of product. So I'll define my customer. Maybe my customer is a individual between age of 20 years to 45 years living in metro or tier 1 cities, at least graduate. So in this way, I'll define my customer segment and then go and talk to them, maybe,
I
right?
was thinking that it would be really in a B2B market because the companies have to deal with the CSR and the environment policy. So that kind of
So that's pretty easy because you know the users very clearly, and they will be limited in number compared to B2C. So whichever industry you want to go, say you want to go for food industry first, so you will identify some players, and again there also you might have a list of 100 companies which are making food and who would use your packaging, but not everyone would be ready to invest on sustainability. So there also you need to identify, segment the customers into certain categories. So it's understand one thing, company would care about sustainability if their customers care about sustainability. If I'm a business, I would care about sustainability if I know that caring about sustainability would improve my business. if I say that my product is made from sustainable packaging, maybe my customer would appreciate it and maybe will pay me a premium. So in that sense, you would identify companies whose customers are like that, right? In terms of their price, location, age, education. So identify 10 companies and maybe go to and talk to them. Within company also, then you will define who should you talk to. Should you talk to purchase head or product head, or yes, who is the decision maker, uh, who has more stakes in deciding which packaging to use for your product. So this way you would keep going step by step and keep defining your segment, and then you go and talk to them. So exploratory mean maybe you will meet 20 purchase managers and uh, ask them if they would like to buy such a package if provided, right? If yes, how much are you willing to pay more? If what kind of demand you have? Would you need a lot of customization or is it standard? So whatever is your ask, you would ask them. And after 20 interviews, you would have a script, maybe from the discussion or maybe audio recording if you're recording it. So then you will take out common points from that discussion. Maybe common point could be uh, everybody was say worried about cost. They said we will buy your product only if it is not very expensive than what we are using now. So that means that whatever you produce should not be very expensive because customer is a price sensitive customer. Or maybe a common point could be uh, assurance of delivery, right? They said, I mean, because in companies logistics, availability of raw material is a very, very sensitive issue. So it should not happen that I need 1,000 packages and you say I can only make 50 or 100 or 500. So you should be able to step. Whatever is the common thing between the discussion, you will get to know where to focus and build your business. Any other question?
So how to access those primary database out of which we segment our companies and we'll figure out the companies we are maybe pushing.
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't.
For instance, like specific sector की companies में देखना चाहता हूँ उसकी मार्केट कितनी बड़ी है तो किसी एक इंडस्ट्री के हमने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है जस्ट हमें ये देखना है कि सिमिलर और कितनी इंडस्ट्री एग्जिस्ट है तो ऐसे कोई ओपन सोर्स कोई रिसोर्सेज होते हैं क्या जहाँ पे कंपनीज का डेटाबेस हो या मेरी स्पेसिफिक तरह से डेटा मेरे सामने आते हैं
So there are both type of resources. One are public resources. Say, if you go to moneycontrol.com, for example, you type a company name. Say you type Dabur India Limited. It will give you a lot of information on Dabur, but then it will also give you a list of similar companies which are making products similar to Dabur. So that's and there are many such portals like Money Control. There are Thomas Reuters, Factiva, then Google Finance, Yahoo Finance. Not many. I remember very few, but there could be maybe 100. So there are certain kind of open source. Most of these stock uh, private equity or stock broking apps would have that information. Second are which are kind of paid reports. Say there is a company called Traction. If you have heard this name, sorry, my throat is ready. Thank you. There are companies which publish uh, reports on each segment. Okay, let me just show you a demo if it works here.
earlier I've covered lots of magazines जिसमें किसी एक पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री की कोई लिस्ट होती है then the common problems and everything.
Yeah, so for example, this company, uh, this is a market research company which publishes a lot of reports on startup ecosystem. So you go to this company, they will give you there are a lot of paid reports, a lot of free reports. So you can download, for example, if you're interested in edtech education, so you can download their report and see. They would have listed a lot of companies in that. Let's see if they let's say tech. So these are companies at tech, right? So there are 74,000 companies in their database. And these are sample information which they would have given you. I think you can get more if you sign up. Furthermore, if you pay.
One way specific demand will go something like that.
Every sector they would have customized reports. Uh,
I think it's also worth mentioning that if you do competitor research, you don't just start by jumping with market reports. You try to do it yourself first. You get a general lay of the land.
yeah.
And then if you want greater information and so on and so forth, you can consider this from a practical standpoint.
So the, like Sir said, it's steps. Depending on what depth of information you need, you could do a lot of research on your own. You could do a lot of get information from public and free sources. You could then, if you really need very deep information, you could go to some paid reports. Now, for example, this report is about business models. Now, within EdTech also, there are different type of businesses. Few would have test preparation material. Few would have K-12 tuition kind of thing. Few would have English speaking courses. Now, this report actually lists down all the businesses which exist in EdTech industry. For example, K-12 online academic tutoring. Now, this is like physics wala, where K-12 is KG to 12 school segment. So where you are teaching some school subjects to school students. This is one type of business. Second type of business is online test preparation, CAT ki coaching or GRE ki coaching kind of thing. Loans, maybe companies which provide education loan online. So depending on which customer segment you are interested in, you can download their reports. There is another website which list. This is for it. This traction is for like this is global, but this one is for India. This is called India Brand Equity Fund. This is a government funded organization whose job is to create knowledge for businesses in India. So they again publish a lot of useful reports about Indian businesses. Now here also you could choose about which industry. Now they have listed all industries. I'm interested in whatever. Which industry you were talking about? Um, where would it fall in? Where is okay? This might be food manufacturing, not packaging. Maybe it was. But anyway, so let's say this industry. Now, this website will give you entire information about this industry. What are the trends? What are the government schemes? Reports, size of the market, growth rate of the market, everything which you want to know about this industry. So you can explore it. I'm just showing you kind of sources which exist for the information you are asking. You can spend some time, we'll give you entire information about different sectors. That's it. Okay, to so summarize these three type of research, exploratory is where your problems are ambiguous, where you don't have clear idea of what you need a. It's like I want to know a little bit about the field kind of question. So there you need exploratory research. Descriptive is you know the problem, you want answer, very specific answer, like who is my customer, who is buying my product, what is right price for my product, what is my market share, who is market leader in this segment, those kind of questions. So there you need descriptive. And causal is where you have a problem and you want to know the reason, like uh, if my sales are declining, why they are declining, right? Is price responsible, or those kind of things. Okay. Now, what can, if you're a startup and you're starting up a new business, what can MR help you with? First question it can help you with is to define your value proposition. Say if you have identified a technology, a patented technology which you want to commercialize. Now you want to know what is the scope of this kind of opportunity? How big is the market? Who is my customer? So this is called value proposition defining. To do that, you will have to first define your product. Say he was saying packaging material, which is more sustainable, right? So, but this is not uh, a very clear product definition, right? This is a concept, I would say. To define it, you will have to convert it into a very clear business definition, which would mean which kind of material do you want to manufacture? So you say, I want to manufacture packaging material. What kind of packaging material? Now, packaging material could be food, it could be for heavy equipment, it could be for regular thing, it could be Tetra packs, it could be paper based, it could be polythene. You have to define a little bit more on uh, what kind of industry or customer you want to make it for. Then, what is the advantage for your packaging material? Is it cheaper than what exists? Is it easy to manufacture? Is it more durable? Will it last long? Is it of high quality? Will it be will it look more beautiful than what exists? There has to be some advantage over other which you are. That's what called invention for, right? If you are saying that we have invented a new technology, a patented technology, it has to have some advantage over existing others, right? Say you somebody say I have some chemical engineer has devised a new kind of composition which is a better pain relief, say medicine. Maybe if you apply that ointment, it is more effective in pain relief for injuries. So whatever is your product, you have to define it into a what value it delivers, what is the advantage it has. Then next step is to convert that advantage into a commercializable kind of uh, uh, product. Say if it is a pain relief chemical, say, then will you sell it in form of a tablet, or will you make gel out of it? Will you make a spray out of it? What kind of product it will be? What kind of packaging will it have? So you have to slowly, step by step, keep defining it in form of a thing which would eventually you will put on a shelf of a shopkeeper. So you have from that chemical to something which you will pick up from the shelf, you have to define that in your journey. So that's kind of defining the value proposition. Second is defining the market size of the opportunity, which means what is the size of the market? How many crores? Now, value market size can be defined in two forms. One is in form of money. say total market size of say a pain relief medicine is 500 crores in the country. Or second way of defining it in form of volume, say total market size of pain relief is say 50,000 gel tubes, right? Maybe it could be in any form. Say cars ka, for example, somebody asks you, car kitne bikte hai? So you could say in money form, you could say, okay, the total market for cars in India is 2 lakh crores. Or somebody could define it from a volume. Somebody could say the market for cars is 10 lakh cars in a year. Whichever way you want to define, but you have to define your market size. Answering those two questions will help you answer this question, that what problem are you solving? What size of problem is it? Is it worth pursuing or not? Right? Now, when we say value proposition, it could be in form of two things. When I said it has to be somewhat better than what exists in the market. That could be in two forms. It could be, as we call it could alleviate pain, which means something exists, some pain exists, and you are helping relieve that pain. A second could be you are giving some gain. There is no pain, there is no problem as such, but what your product is a gain in somebody's life. Let's say, uh, some examples of both. Examples of pain relief. Pain relief doesn't mean that physical pain, but in general, customer pain, if I say. Say you're say you are uh, say you are a stockbroking app. Maybe you have developed an app which helps people save more money. Right now, in a way, you are solving a pain of a person whose savings are not very high. Maybe who is struggling to save out of it. So you're kind of making them easy to invest in some way. Or pain could be you're making them feel better. Say lifestyle products. Maybe uh, my say I'm very fat, right? And it is a pain for me. I don't like it. It has a emotional and physical impact on me. And you are selling me a obesity drug. So saying if you take this medicine for 3 months, you will lose 10 kgs over whatever period of 1 year. So that's again type of a pain. Third could be pain like you are fixing an underperforming solution. Maybe you have come up with a better car which is more durable. You have come up with a phone which has a long lasting battery. So you're solving a underperforming thing, right? It could be in any area. You have developed a better projector, whatever exists today. You have maybe it would not need as much electricity, or maybe it can work even when electricity is gone. Whatever is the pain, you have improved on it. Or it could be you are making you are ending some difficulties for customers. You are making something easier. For example, Make My Trip. What does it do? It makes easier for you to book tickets, right? IRCTC app. So earlier we used to go to station and book tickets. Now you could do it at your home. So what is the value proposition of this IRCTC? It is removing some of your difficulty in booking an app. What is Ola? Again, it is a way to book your cab easily. Otherwise, you would have to go to a taxi stand, find a person, negotiate a price, and then take a ride. But with an app, you could. So your business could be solving a difficulty for a customer. It could be eliminate negative social consequences. Uh, Maybe it is helping you make your customer handle social uh, situation better. Say beauty apps, whatever beauty products are sold. What are they sold on? Fairness creams, for example. So what are they helping you do? They are helping you feel more confident in a social setting, right? So all these kind of products are, I mean, the broad message is you have to define which pain of your customer are you solving with your product. If you're not able to define it properly, then you don't have a business, right? It has to, and it should be, it could solve more than one pain, but every product eventually has a one direct problem which it is solving, and you have to identify that very, very clearly. Last could be, it could be eliminating risk, right? For example, UPI, Paytm. Now, what does it do? It is eliminating a risk. So you made payment to somebody. Now we prefer to make it on UPI than on cash. Why? Because you have a proof of payment. In case in future person says I have not received money, you could always show that I've transferred money. So what is it doing? It is eliminating risk of some fraud which might happen with you. Understood? So these are some ways in which your product could relieve a pain. Now, whatever technology or product you have imagined for yourself, just take 2 minutes. I'll stop for 2 minutes. Try to write down which pain your product is solving. Just think calmly and see what kind of problem or pain are you solving for your customer with whatever business you are imagining. Or maybe you could list down 2, 3 things. If you think there are 3 things, you could list down in priority, which is the biggest pain you are solving. Second, third. Is it a very intense, deep pain? Is it a light pain? Is it good to have? Is it a very deep pain? How frequently it occurs? Does it occur every day? Does it occur weekly? Does it occur once in a year? Does it occur on certain special type of occasions? So that will give you an indication of how big problem are you solving for your customer. Just think through these questions for 2, 3 minutes. You can share also if you want to discuss, you can share with everyone.
Sir, I think the last slide आपने like जो answer points इस प्रॉब्लम को मैं सॉल्व करूँ तो ऑलमोस्ट 4 पॉइंट्स तो कवर होते हैं. जैसे सबसे बड़ा जो एक पॉइंट है एलिमिनेटिंग नेगेटिव सोशल कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. एक पर्टिकुलर फ्लीट मैनेजमेंट में पर्टिकुलर लिक्विड की मॉनिटरिंग नहीं कर पा रहे थे इंडस्ट्री, तो उसकी वजह से गवर्नमेंट का और अलग रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज का उनके ऊपर ये आरोप था कि मे बी यू आर डूइंग सम मार्केट, और उनको ये प्रूव करना है कि नहीं हमने जो भी किया वो ट्रांसपेरेंट था, फेयर था. तो उस केस के लिए हम लोगों ने एक IoT डिवाइस बनाया, उसको वहाँ पे उनके प्लेट में फिट करके हम ये प्रूफ दे पाते हैं कि यस जो भी वो पेपर में कह रहा है वो एक्चुअल कंडीशंस में था, तभी तो उसको वैलिडेट किया जा सकता है. तो किसी कस्टमर के ऊपर जो सबसे बड़ा आरोप लग रहा है पब्लिक इमेज का कुछ ऐसा कंसर्न था,
Hmm.
उसको रिजॉल्व करना।
So it's helping in compliance, basically.
Yes.
Whatever the regulations of that area are, it is
It is like Central Pollution Control Board. So only
okay.
compliance here is specific waste water should be collected from any location and then जब dumping होगी that will be a particular effluent treatment plant. तो अगर उससे कहीं भी किसी और जगह उसको डंप किया जाता है तो एक माल प्रैक्टिस है और वो एनवायरमेंट के लिए डेंजरस है और उसको किसी भी कंडीशन में नहीं होना जो पहला नेगेटिव सोशल कॉन्सिक्वेंस है कि कई बार मीडिया में किसी ने रिपोर्ट भी लिख दी या उनके ही किसी ड्राइवर ने ऐसी कोई माल प्रैक्टिस करी तो उसमें पूरी कंपनी का आगे जो टेंडर किया सब खत्म हो
Okay.
जाता है। तो सेकेंड थिंग इज क्रिएट सेविंग्स। तो कई बार क्या होता है कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं होने की वजह से लॉजिस्टिक्स में पेपर में कुछ और मेंशन कर दिया और एक्चुअल में किसी और अमाउंट में लिक्विड करेक्ट किया तो
Hmm.
इस तरह से कुछ फाइनेंशियल लॉसेस भी होते हैं।
Okay.
एग्जैक्टली वो वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन क्या है अभी उसका आइडिया नहीं है बट ऑलमोस्ट जो भी प्रोडक्ट हम सोच रहे हैं जितने कॉस्ट में उसके मल्टीपल फोल्ड्स में नुकसान होता ही थर्ड थिंग वाज
So this is exactly where MR can help you. So when you are creating a product, you are assuming that these are the problems which exist, and these are the products which my product would solve for the customer. Now, when you go and talk to the customer, you could actually test your assumptions.
कर दिया ये कस्टमर ने कम्युनिकेट कर ली या एक्टेड अपॉन इट और हमने उसको रिजॉल्व करके इनिशियली प्रोटोटाइप कर लिया नाउ जस्ट tweaks जो
So
whatever
out of 3 or 4 problems which you have listed, which is the biggest pain for the customers?
biggest is this negative social consequences because he has to comply with all pollution board compliances
Okay.
and there is no device which can offer transparency to this customer's particular things.
Right. So then, of course, you can try to create a product which meets every proposition, but keep your core focus on this biggest problem. Because if you solve the biggest problem for your customer, they won't mind deficiencies in other problems. So keep your marketing, positioning, messaging on this, that. We foolproof your compliance, right? If you use this device, you can't go wrong on this. If savings happen, good to have. But the core promise is to make you compliant to the regulations. Yeah. They have to figure out. It could be any of them. For different products, it will be different. These are all possibilities which a product can solve for a customer. And now they have to think for for their product solves what and in which order.
I have a question. How do you put a value to the price to it? Like you are solving a problem, but how do you decide that this problem was this was this much of the money of the line over there? Like how do you actually that?
How do you price your product?
I mean, or service product service.
Yeah, so it's a very good question. Okay, let me answer your question by asking you some questions. Where do you live? You live in Chandigarh. Where in Chandigarh?
27.
27 sector. Okay. What's your name?
Rishi.
Rishi. Okay, so Rishi, I'll help you reach your home safely and on time, right? I'll charge you 50 rupees. Would you pay me?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Rishi, I'll help you reach your home safely and on time. I'll charge you 200 rupees. Would you pay me? Shuk, you have given up very early. I was thinking you will go till 500 and then say no. But so you have to ask your customer that this problem to be solved, right? Now, pay maybe 3 rupees to escalate. I won't pay, but that's a problem. So this is one way of looking at the price. That what is the consequence for the customer if that problem is not solved, right? If the consequences are very severe, you would pay much higher. If the consequences are not as severe, you'll pay less, right? So maybe you would pay much higher if you are, say, you would maybe need a very, very high quality system if you are doing a transfer of 2 lakh rupees versus if you're doing a transfer of 10 rupees, 20 rupees. So that's one way of looking at it. And the way to determine is to talk to your customers and figure out, not directly. Again, though I have asked you this question that how much are you willing to pay, typically this is not right pay. You should not ask, because as a customer, it's very difficult for me to say that, okay, this is a 200 rupees worth problem or 500 rupees. You have to discuss and infer internally, right? If I don't avail, if you don't avail my service of dropping home, what would you do? So that's second, right? What are your alternatives? Your alternatives could be maybe you have a bike, you can drive. Second is you can go and avail public transport. Maybe that will cost you some money. Third is you could hire a cab. So then you, second is you check alternatives. And if your alternative is better than what exists, maybe you can charge more than what they would pay for other alternatives. So that's benchmarking with alternatives, right? In that also there could be two type of alternatives, substitutes and alternate. Do you know the difference between substitutes and alternatives? So say I'm thirsty and I need something to drink, and you offer me water, and you say 15 rupees for a, 20 rupees for a Bisleri. I don't need Bisleri, I need Aquafina. Maybe that's better. So maybe it's 25. So these are alternative. I can have different brands of same product. So it's water, but I can have 3, 4 type of water. Substitute is maybe you offer me tea, or you offer me juice, you offer me cold drink. So that's substitute, right? In your case, say Ola versus Uber is a alternative, but Ola versus CTU bus is a substitute. So you have to benchmark both categories. What is the substitute for your customer and what are the alternatives, if there are alternatives. If your product is such that वो अभी हुआ ही नहीं है problem solve, आपने बिल्कुल scratch से innovation करा है, then there is no alternative. There's only substitute, and you need to check that. So that's second thing to keep in mind when you're pricing. Third is your cost. To do that service, what would it cost you? What is your cost structure? Say to drop you home, it will cost me 30 rupees of petrol and maybe 50 rupees of vehicle rent or maintenance or whatever is charged for that service. So 80 rupees is my, maybe 20 rupees is my driver cost for half an hour. So I have 100 rupees which is cost. So I cannot sell you less than 100 rupees in whichever case. So that becomes my third ceiling, right? So these are some considerations when you are deciding price. There could be more. For example, if your product is such that which is not related to problem, but it is related to an aspiration or a hope or a, say, luxury products. If you're selling a Rolex watch, then you don't, so then these are not criteria. Like you won't say cost of manufacturing of watch is this one, or you won't say if you don't wear a Rolex, what would you suffer for, right? Then your criterias become gain. It's not pain, it's gain. That what do you gain by using this product, right? Now let's look at the second aspect of thing. Now, second type of uh, value which you can deliver to your customer is you can provide some gains. Now, there is no pain in the area which you are selling, but you can provide some gain. For example, you could make customers happy. Say OTT, Netflix. Now, there is no pain in our life that we subscribe OTT to solve, right? Just that it gives us some gain. And what is the gain in this case? Happiness, entertainment, enjoyment. So your product could be that also, right? It need not be solved. Or maybe your product is better than uh, you know it whatever exists, it is better than that, right? Say food. So my juice is fresh. Maybe you already have some Tetra packs, but this is a fresh juice. This is an organic food. People pay for gain also. Now you do have food or say cereals available, but this is organic cereal. And what is the gain? It is chemical free. It is adulteration free, right? So it could be that kind of gain also. Better quality level, more of something, less of something. Could be any type of gain. Uh, maybe cost also fall under this thing. Maybe I'm giving you same service but at a lower price, 20% lower than Reliance Jio. Now, when it came to market, what was the selling proposition? Cost, right? It was cheaper than other phones. So it is same service you could call from your phone, but it costs you less than what Airtel would cost you. Third could be outperforming current solutions which customers have. Mobile phones. Maybe my phone has a 20 megapixel camera versus all other competition which is 15 as of now. Maybe battery life of my phone is better than the other phone. It could be any feature which performs better where you want to sell on. Make our customers' life easier in some ways. Say Coursera. Now, what is Coursera doing? It makes learning easier. You don't need to find a tuition center in Chandigarh and go every day physically to learn analytics. You could do sitting at your home, putting your headphones and watching some videos. So what is edtech? It's a kind of a making learning easy for people. Investing. What is say Grow app? You could invest in stocks very easily, right? Taxi booking. All these are essentially they are providing you ease of using service. Creating positive outcomes which the customer desires, making them look good, power status, social status. Say Rolex, I gave you an example. What is the selling proposition? If you wear it, it gives you a certain kind of social enhancement. Cars, luxury cars. So, what is the difference? There is no difference in utility of a Hyundai car versus a BMW car. But the luxury and the social status when you drive two cars is different. So that's what customers pay you for. Getting it? So these could be another few ways in which your product could help your customers. Again, think over for 2 minutes and see if your product provides any gain for your customers. चल रहा है स्क्रीन पे Any questions? Yes.
अपने स्टार्टअप के हिसाब से देखो टेक्नोलॉजी के हिसाब से मैं पेन आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहा पेन क्या है सॉल्यूशन तो भी
क्या प्रोडक्ट बताओ अपना
जैसे फिल्म में मशीन है, पेटेंटेड टेक्नोलॉजी है जो कि एडिबल एंड इको फ्रेंडली पैकेजिंग मटेरियल बनाता है। अभी मैं इस स्टेज पे हूँ कि मैं पोटेंशियल कस्टमर से अगर बात ही नहीं करिए, समझेंगे कि मार्केट कैसी है, तो आई डोंट नो कि क्या पेन है अभी, से क्या वैल्यू और नीड मिल सकता हूँ। और अभी मैं स्टेज में कुछ सोच नहीं पा रहा था। अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि सोशल स्टार्टअप है कि हाँ एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली सस्टेनेबिलिटी, बट मॉनेटरी वैल्यू में से ग्रास्प करेंगे।
नहीं, आप क्यों करना चाहते हो? आप क्यों बनाना चाहते हो ऐसी मशीन जो सस्टेनेबल पैकेजिंग बनाती है?
एक्चुअली जब हमें टास्क दिया गया था कि आप टेक्नोलॉजी सबमिट करो, तो मैं 5-6 जगहों पे ऐसे साइंटिस्ट से कॉन्टैक्ट किया था, तो किसी से बात पर नहीं बन रही थी, कोई ना कोई इशू आ रहा था। एंड देन सडनली वो समझ नहीं आता क्या करूँ मैं। दोस्त कुछ दोस्त मेरे मुझे नहीं होना लगा, जब बात हुई तो लगा कि हम वहाँ से कोलैबोरेट कर लो टेक्नोलॉजी, तो ऐसे नहीं।
नहीं तो आप चलो एक बार कस्टमर का गेन और पेन छोड़ते हैं, तुम्हारा क्या गेन है? व्हाई डू यू थिंक दिस काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट शुड बी मेड इन द वर्ल्ड?
मतलब किसी भी तरीके से अगर हम कस्टमर ग्रास को मार्केट कैप्चर करना है, तो किसी को मनी पार्ट
नहीं, मार्केट कैप्चर करने से पहले आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा ना कि कोई प्रोडक्ट आपका क्यों खरीदेगा। वो आपको हाँ, वो आपको मार्केट रिसर्च पहले कस्टमर आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि कौन है जिसको इसकी जरूरत है। हाँ, कौन है जिसको इसकी जरूरत है। सो पेन गेन कैसे पता चलता है? या तो ये ऑलरेडी कुछ एग्जिस्ट करता है, पैकेजिंग मे बी सस्टेनेबल पैकेजिंग ऑलरेडी बनाता है कोई, बट मे बी वो अच्छा नहीं बनाता, या वो बहुत महंगा है, या वो बहुत कम क्वांटिटी में बनता है, सबको नहीं मिलता, या वो यहाँ नहीं मिलता, रशिया में मिलता है। सो गेटिंग इट, यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई प्रॉब्लम क्या है अभी। अगर नहीं है या नहीं यूज हो रहा तो क्यों नहीं हो रहा? व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम यू आर फॉर? दैट विल बी द गेन फॉर द कस्टमर, बट दैट विल कम फ्रॉम मार्केट रिसर्च। तो फिर आपको कस्टमर से बात करके पता चलेगा, यू कांट एज्यूम दैट।
If I can represent, आपके केस में एडिबल कटलरी, इको फ्रेंडली फिल्म्स, राइट? यू कैन आल्सो लुक एट योर कंपटीशन जो ये चीजें कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? फ्रॉम देयर यू कैन फाइंड उनके क्लाइंट, if what people actually buy from them. And then you try to find other companies like that जो buy कर रही हैं, फिर इनसे पूछ सकते हो कि जिनसे तुम buy कर रहे हो उनमें क्या issues हैं, and try to solve those.
Yeah, they were already buying.
But in a more structured way, you have to do it.
Can you make better than them? Can you make cheaper than them? Can you make faster than them? Any other question? Anything from online participants? But are you getting the overall concept? Whatever you build, you identify the value proposition. The value proposition could be in form of a relieving a pain, or it could be in form of a gain which your customer is providing. You could you have to define that. Only then you can think how much can you monetize. What is the opportunity, business opportunity for you? So this is first step, which is problem definition, which could be and when you define your problem, define it in this form. Define which features problem किस form में exist करता है, right? What is the intensity, critical? Is it a very critical problem? Immediate problem है या like stocks is not an everyday problem. It's once in a year or once in a month kind of problem. So got disabled. Okay. I think if I don't move it for some time, it logs off. And then lastly, what existing solutions are, substitutes and alternatives both, and look at them. This is these are some words which can help. I mean, these are sample words which can define your value proposition. For example, badge value. Luxury products are badge value. Like if you have them, it's a badge on your shoulder kind of thing. Organizes, it helps you organize things. For example, software, right? Uh, Reduces cost, saves time, improves quality, simplifies, avoid hassles, reduces risk, fun and entertainment, attractiveness, connects me to other people, makes money, informs, integrates. So these are different type of uh, you know kind of gains which a customer can have from the product. So you need to see आपके लिए कौन से applicable है इनमें से. This is I don't know if it is readable. So for B2C products, direct to customer products, your gain could be uh, functional. Functional मतलब some feature of product, say cost है या quality of product is easy, features are more. So it could be a functional gain, it could be an emotional gain. Emotional could be it has impact on your emotions. Can you name some products which have emotional gains? Some product which gives you emotional gain, which improves your, helps you manage your. So I've listed some emotions which can be managed.
Music or fragrance?
Yeah, music apps, yes.
Fragrance can
What?
be.
Fragrance, yes. Some lifestyle products, yes. Insurance, it reduces your anxiety, your fear, uncertainty, yes. What you were saying?
Fidget toys, जिनको एंजाइटी होती है वो कुछ बार बार आपसे कुछ खेलते रहते हैं और ऐसे कुछ toys होते हैं.
Right. So these are some examples of managing your emotion. They have impact on your emotions, right? Then some life-changing, some products which have impact on your, say, provide hope, self-actualization, motivation, affiliation. Can you name some examples?
Maybe some self-help application.
Medicines, right? Okay. What else?
तो ऐसी एप्लीकेशन हो सकती है कोई सेल्फ प्रोक्रास्टिनेशन को मेरे को अपनी लाइफ से हटाना है और हैबिट नहीं जा रही है देन कोई ऐप प्रोवाइड करता है मैं डेली प्रैक्टिस करता हूं.
Right. Some, yes, right. Wearables, smartwatches, we wear those wearables, right? They help us manage our health, our habits, our behavior, right? Learning apps, so learning a new technology, you're learning data science, you're doing a course, they have a life-changing impact on you. Of course, if you do it right, but yeah, they are intended to make that kind of impact. Social impact, products which improve your social kind of standing.
Social media platforms. Maybe.
Yeah, social media platforms and these meeting apps. For example, we are meeting on this WebEx, so is what it's helping us connect on a public platform.
Would that be functional?
So out of these, sorry,
Would that be functional?
it's
it's actually letting us do something that we would have had to do much more
Yes,
efforts for.
yes. It has a functional
It could
value.
be multiple
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, yeah, it can be both. Can be an absolute, but again, yeah, there will be some primary, some secondary benefit out of it. What would you pay you? What would you pay most for in this hierarchy? What should be priced higher and what should be priced lower? Life changing should be higher.
It depends अगर फंक्शनैलिटी में मैं कुछ ऐड करता हूँ मैं इंडस्ट्री और मेरे को कॉस्ट सेविंग बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है आई वुड सी वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन देखनी होगी किसी भी
हाँ नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अगर आपका एक प्रोडक्ट है उसका वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन फंक्शनल है, किसी दूसरे प्रोडक्ट का वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन इमोशनल है, एज अ कस्टमर आपको क्या लगता है किससे पैसा ज्यादा मिलेगा?
डिलीवरी ज़्यादा जिसको मास
नहीं, वो तो चलो दोनों में इट्स हायर, इट्स सेम डायरेक्शन, राइट? जो इस हायरार्की में ऊपर है, दैट विल फेच यू मोर मनी. People will be ready to pay more for social impact. If you promise somebody that I'll make you, uh, say, manage your online reputation or become very charismatic or manage your personality or whatever, or manage your relationships, networking, you can charge them much more. Similarly, life changing. If somebody promises you, okay, I'll help you make a very good career in technology or in management, or so you're ready to pay more versus something which is functional, say transportation, for example. So that's very functional.
ऑनलाइन टेक्निकल कोर्सेज की फीस भी ज़्यादा होती है तो सिलेबस के कोर्सेज होते हैं किसी भी वेबसाइट पे
Yeah. So whatever is so again, same principle. Uh, whatever has whose consequences are more severe for you, you would be ready to pay more as a customer, both in negative sense and positive sense. Like if I don't do this, if I have a very significant harm, then I'm ready to pay more, say cancer or whatever, versus headache. And same spectrum could be for a gain. So first gain could be you help me reach from this place to Mohali. That's one gain. Second gain could be you help me become a very senior data scientist by some learning. So you can charge me much higher for that versus transportation. So when you design a thing for your product, uh, so why I'm showing this is whatever product you are imagining, when you do market research, try to get answers for these questions. These are not, you don't have to answer these questions. Your customer has to answer these questions. Like when you talk to your customer, will it uh, kind of, will it add functional value to them or emotional value? You have to ask them. We can, yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Okay, I'll pause for maybe 5-10 minutes. Can we start? Is it visible? Okay, so we'll continue. So far we have understood the role of MR in defining the value proposition for our business. What value are we delivering? Now, next part is who is our customer? How do you really define that? Who is your customer and opportunity sizing? what is the market size for your, like, we were discussing this question over tea. Now, to identify customers, you have these questions which need to be answered when you are saying identifying identifying the customer segment. First is who they are. Who they are doesn't mean name of people. Who they are means their characteristics, like what is their age, what is their gender, what is their, are they educated, what is their job role, what they do, where they live, kind of thing. So this is like you need to define these questions for your customer. Where they live, like geographically, where are they? Uh, are they everywhere? For example, if it is a shampoo, then you will say they're everywhere, right? Versus if you will say, if you're selling winter clothes, then they don't live in South India, right? They live in North India, maybe some parts of North India. So geographically, because your product or service might be based or relevant to a certain geography, right? So you need to define where they live. Now, another way could be where they live means city or village, right? Say if you're planning to build a taxi service, then your customers live in cities. They don't live in villages because they don't need taxis. They are not, distances are not very large where they need to commute every day. So that's another question, where they live. Third is how do they decide? You need to know what are the decision criterias to, I mean, with respect to your product or service. Like, how do they decide what to eat for snacks? How do they decide which mobile phones to buy? How do they decide should I take a bus or a cab? So it means the parameters. Now that parameter could be cost, parameter could be availability, parameter could be somebody else guiding me. For example, how do they decide, say if I'm selling a Coursera product, uh, how do they decide which, say you are a student, how do you decide which course to enroll or to buy from Udemy, right? Now that could be, for him it could be some friend recommending it. For him it could be whichever is cheapest. For him it could be what is the background of the professor who is offering it. Anything. It could be any criteria. So, but you should know the the reason what customers have in mind. You should know which is a primary criteria of decision making for them. Then, what is important to them? Uh, are they price sensitive? Are they quality sensitive? Uh, for example, if you are, let's take, okay, maybe I can ask you a question. If I'm selling a very high quality uh, cold drink, for example, what do you think is important to you as a customer? What would matter the most? Oh, okay, let's say two, three things which would matter.
Taste. Taste.
Taste of the drink would matter. Okay, yes. Price would matter. Maybe it has to be reasonably. Health consequences would matter. Okay. Three. Anything else?
Brand.
Brand would matter. Which brand it is. Okay. Anything else? That's it.
The face of the cold drink.
The phase would matter. Okay. Okay.
Packaging. Availability.
Availability. So I think that's what would matter the most. Like, if I give you the world's best drink and it's 20 rupees, but it's available in Mohali, would you go and buy it and come back? No, right? So it's a product which somebody would not travel more than 500 meters to buy. So uh, it has to be available at the nearby store in your location, right? So there could be any reason. Similarly, price, of course, like nobody would buy a cold drink for 500 rupees a bottle. Like, you would only be paying as much, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 rupees for a bottle. So you have to know what matters and prioritize them in certain order. Who influences them? Like who is the decision maker and who influences them? And it varies from product to product. For example, when we buy mobile phones, we have different influences versus when we buy food, versus when we enroll in a college, versus when we book a cab. So, in certain products, we have influencers, in certain products, we don't have influencers. But if there are influencers in your case, you should know who they are and what are priorities for them, right? So, for example, in most children products, parents are the influencers, like they are the decision makers. In most products which are sold to teenagers or youngsters, friends are the influencers, right? So you should know the influences and be able to tackle them. What have they done in the past? Like, what are they buying in the past? What do they do? What are the substitutes? What are the alternatives? How much they buy, when they buy, how much they pay, all questions related to past behavior of your customers. So when you are going to define your customer, you have to answer these questions for them, like who they are, like write down as much as you can about your customers, then define how they buy, who are the influencers, what matters to them. So all these things, I mean, customer doesn't mean one word definition. It means maybe a page long description about an attribute, right? Okay, now let's do an example. Let's try to answer these questions for a product. Let's take a product. Let's take electric vehicle, scooter, Ola scooter. Are you aware about, right, that product? Is it comfortable? Okay, now can you define who are the customers for Ola electric scooter? Start answering these questions one by one in detail. I don't know. Let's take okay, let's simplify. Honda Activa. Honda Activa. Let's not very known product. Okay, let's define, answer these questions for, imagine your product is Honda Activa. Now define these customers. Who they are? Who are your customers? People who are online, please, you can also respond. I'm not able to see you, but you can respond if you want to. Okay, old age. Okay, that could be a old age people. Okay,
Adult selling license. जो single student.
college students. Okay, okay,
Low income people. Middle class, those slightly lower income people.
lower income.
Frequently commuting over shorter distances.
Okay, let's go one by one. Let's say age is the first. Now, can you define age for Honda Activa customer? What age group should be your customer? 18 to 25? Okay, I'm no judge, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be, there could be two segments as much as I understand. It could be 18 to 26, 27, and then maybe 35 to 50 kind of thing, right? When you uh, have settled and you need a little bit support to go around. So that could be okay. You have some age group definition. Okay. Uh, education. Is education a criteria for your customers? For Honda Activa? Think, don't jump. Just think that. Would education matter?
The answer is it depends.
Okay.
Educated enough to follow traffic regulation.
I mean, truck drivers are all, most people who drive vehicles on roads are illiterate, so that's okay. That doesn't really qualify them. But we are not talking about any vehicle, we are talking about Honda Activa. So, and it's okay, you can say that it doesn't matter. I'm not expecting a particular type of answer, but I'm wanting you to think over this.
Indirectly, it does. if we assume that educational qualification has positive correlation with income, then if you're higher educated, then you have higher income as opposed to, let us say, a manual laborer. If you have slightly higher income, then you will be able to afford the product, and therefore that education does have
Okay.
a role. But it's the
But in that case, income we will keep a separate criteria. We'll have income as well criteria. So
but this factor influences income, so it does influence the end point, but
yeah,
tertiary.
but we'll directly talk about income. So no need to indirectly infer income from education. So that's okay. Okay, let's say education doesn't matter for now. Okay. Okay, now let's say search point income. Do you have income? Would you have income criteria for your customer? If you're selling Honda Activa, what would be the income criteria? Who are your customers in terms of income?
Lower middle class, middle class.
No, so you have to define very, very in numbers. No
30,000
generic.
per month. 30,000 per month ऐसा कोई income source का उससे थोड़ा ऊपर up to 1 lakh.
5 to 6 LPA.
5 to 6 LPO, so that's about 40,000, 50,000 per month. Okay, what's the lower limit? 30,000? Okay. And what's the upper limit?
1.5 lakh. उसके बाद फिर वो गाड़ी या convenience support का.
Not
Okay.
necessarily. You just have to go to the fast money market. You buy an Activa for your chicken that category.
I don't think the upper limit exists in this case because many people like want to promote the advertisement.
Okay. ठीक है, fair enough. So there's only lower limit, but after that there is no, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. So age-wise you have income-wise you have a criteria. Gender, does gender matter for Activa?
Compatible तो नहीं, but customers are female gender में ज़्यादा क्योंकि it is inconvenient for them to go for a bike as a two-wheeler, so they prefer Activa.
Main reason में ज़्यादा
वो उस पे आएंगे सर, वो अलग है, ज्योग्राफी अलग है. अभी जेंडर, इज जेंडर क्राइटेरिया फॉर एक्टिवा?
यूज तो नहीं करते, बट यस एक मार्केट है जिसको बाइक टू व्हीलर की तरह नहीं करता है, कहते हैं तो एक्टिवा करते
Because women are less likely to buy motorcycles.
राइट. सो
women के लिए there is a substitute, there is no substitute as opposed to men के लिए there is.
in fact Activa was a women product for many years. For last couple of years they have tried to, I mean, make it gender neutral, and their messaging has changed. And yes, yes. Do you remember Priyanka Chopra's ad 10 years back when it started? Why should girls have all the fun? That's where it started, right? It was meant for, they were like marketing it to females only. Just that it was, the convenience of the vehicle is so much that men have accepted it without advertisement, right? At home, if you have a bike and Activa, you normally tend to pick up Activa to go nearby thing, right? But yes, it's a criteria. Whatever product you have to think through that. Will gender determine who my customer is, right? Okay, what else? Geography, like sir said. Is geography a criteria for your customer, for your Activa? Which geography is your customer?
urban area.
Okay.
जैसे गांव में रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इतना अच्छा नहीं है और एक्टिवा के व्हीकल छोटे हैं,
Yeah.
तो they'll prefer कि ऑफ रोडिंग नहीं करी जाए उससे
planes.
Right. So that's a good observation that the type of vehicle is such that it can't be driven on, say, bad roads. So maybe it would suit more on plains or where good roads are there. Okay. So it could be cities and plain areas, not maybe mountain areas. Okay, so that restricts your geography. Now within cities, I can ask, is it metros or is it every type of city? Or is it all cities without metros?
People don't use Activa on highways and multiple lanes, but
Yeah, but every city is your customer, right? Okay. So in that way, your geography gets defined. So now, when you are making a business plan as a marketing head of Activa, you know, okay, there are now cities also. It's not like random. You will define city. The city should be uh, which should have a minimum of 50,000 population, or maybe somebody could say only district cities are my market. I will only be available in my store will only be in a district town, not any town. So in that way, maybe there are 500 cities which are my geography target. So you define in that sense, right? Okay, so that's your geographical definition. What else? Behavioral, any other attribute of a customer which would define
Family size.
family size.
Easier learning curve. Very easy to drive.
So what?
Compared to bike. Learning curve. It's pretty easy to drive. Unrelated to family size, but yeah.
It's easy to drive. It's easy to learn to drive well. So then what kind of people are your customers? So now convert this observation into a customer insight.
More of a student who are generally shifting from already using like cycles to a better.
So new drivers,
New drivers.
right? People who are going to drive for the first time. Okay, so there's a very good observation, and you could use this to design your messaging. Like, say, if you're running an ad, then you would show somebody uh, who is learning to drive, right? Your positioning would be around that. Your landscape where you will show your ad would be like that. Right? I'll give you another example to demonstrate why how this kind of impacts your advertisement. Have you seen ads of Surf Excel TV? Seen ads? What kind of what do they show in ad? Not the content, but what kind of environment do they show in Surf Excel ads?
household, female,
What kind of household? What kind of female?
female is homemaker.
They show some homemaker. Sir, आप चुप रहो थोड़ा. What kind of households they show?
कोई homemaker है, खुद से वो अपने कपड़े धोते हैं.
क्या कर रही होती है वो होम मेकर? शो मी, आई मीन थोड़ा डिस्क्राइब करो वो सीन.
वॉशिंग मशीन के पास.
हाँ, तो पहला वो मशीन में धो रही होती है कपड़े. दे आर नॉट वॉशिंग ऑन हैंड, दे आर वॉशिंग इन. दैट्स वन. ओके, और घर कैसा होता है? जो पीछे घर दिखाते हैं वो कैसा होता है?
सिंपल सा मिडिल क्लास.
मॉडर्न घर होता है, टीवी होता है, पीछे बड़ा एलईडी स्क्रीन होता है, सोफा होता है. सेटअप कैसा होता है? गांव का घर होता है, शहर का होता है, किस तरह? राइट, ओके. सो एक मिडिल क्लास होता है. और
मतलब प्रोडक्ट यूज करने से पहले काफी गंदा होता है और कि
नहीं, वो उस पे नहीं जाते हम. वो तो देखो, वो तो बोलेंगे सफाई इज. एंड उसका नॉर्मली किस टॉपिक पे बात कर रहे होते हैं? सर्फ एक्सेल की एड में डिस्कशन किस पे हो रहा होता है? कोई रिमेम्बर करो एड.
चलिए ज्यादा मतलब कम लगे, क्वांटिटी कम यूज कर.
ऐसा बोलते हैं क्या सर्फ एक्सेल की एड में कि चले ज्यादा?
वाइट ग्लास नहीं जाएगा, दाग नहीं जाएगा. स्किन का रिकमेंड करते हैं
ऐसा नहीं बोलते.
इंस्टेंटली
ऐसा व्हील की एड में बोलते हैं या टाइड की एड में बोलते हैं. सर्फ एक्सेल की एड में क्या बोलते हैं? दाग अच्छे हैं. वहां पे वो ये बातें नहीं करते कि सर्फ साफ करता है. वहां पे क्या बात करते हैं? अभी जो एड रिसेंटली चल रहा है वो एक बच्चा शो होता है. वो दादी के साथ घरी नहीं, तुम जा खेल, व्हाटएवर यू एंजॉय एंड आई विल क्लीन इट अप. वो हो राइट. एक उससे पहले ऐड आता था, उसमें वो दिवाली का कुछ सीन दिखाते हैं. तो ओवरऑल जो पोजीशनिंग होता है सर्फ एक्सेल का, दे वो जो मैंने आपको चार्ट दिखाया था, दे आर ट्राइंग टू पोजीशन सर्फ एक्सेल ऑन इमोशनल बेनिफिट्स. उनके लिए फंक्शनल इज गिवन. वो उनको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कि इससे सफाई आपका कपड़ा साफ हो जाएगा. दैट्स गिवन. They don't need to tell you because it's a surf and it's a very good quality surf. But they are trying to message that if you buy Surf Excel, it gives you a certain type of social कि आप इस स्टेटा को बिलोंग करते हो. आप एक अर्बन क्लास पढ़े लिखी फैमिली को बिलोंग करते हो इफ यू आर यूजिंग सर्फ एक्सेल, राइट. और अब व्हील की एड याद करो. व्हील या टाइड की एड या निरमा, वो किस तरह की एड होती है, क्या दिखाते हैं उसमें?
वाइटनेस और हैंड्स ऑफ कोई हाथ से भी कई बार
हाँ, राइट. या तो वो एक ऐसे फ्लैश आता है ये साफ, या वो हाथ दिखाते कि मेरे हाथ, और वो उसमें मशीन नहीं होती, हाथ पे धो रहे होते हैं. तो अब समझ आया, दोनों सर्फ बेच रहे हैं, बट डिफरेंस कहाँ है? उनके मैसेजिंग क्यों डिफरेंट है? क्योंकि उनका कस्टमर डिफरेंट है. पहले का सर्फ एक्सेल का कस्टमर इज अर्बन क्लास एजुकेटेड फैमिली विच यूजेस वॉशिंग मशीन, और उन घरों में कपड़े ऐसे गंदे नहीं होते कि मतलब दे डोंट. हम घर पे आप कपड़े धोते हो, क्या आपको ऐसा चिंता होती कि मेरे कपड़े बहुत मैले हैं? नहीं होते ना हमारे कपड़े. आप ऑफिस में रहते हो, कॉलेज में रहते हो, बेंच पे बैठते हो आप. और वर्सेस जो कोई बंदा फैक्ट्री में काम करता है, उसके लिए क्या मैटर करता है कि दाग कैसे निकलेगा और पैसे ज्यादा तो नहीं लगेंगे, वर्सेस जो बैंक में काम करता है. सो दिस इज हाउ आर यू गेटिंग. सो यू हैव टू डिफाइन योर कस्टमर. दोनों बिजनेस हैं. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा सर्फ एक्सेल अच्छा बिजनेस है या ये टाइड अच्छा. दोनों बिजनेस हैं, दोनों सर्फ बना रहे हैं, बट मेरा कस्टमर कोई और है, आपका कोई और है. तो मेरे को जो मेरा एड है वो मेरे कस्टमर को अपील करना चाहिए. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई मेंट बाय बिहेवियरल एस्पेक्ट. तो अब एक्टिवा के लिए और कुछ बताओ. एनी अदर बिहेवियर? वन इज दे आर न्यू ड्राइवर्स. ओके, व्हाट एल्स?
उसको सामान में ले जा सकते हैं तो क्या बाकी मोटरसाइकिल को
वो मतलब बाद में उसे ऐसे मार्केट करा था कि जो मतलब पहले जिस टाइम पे मार्केट करा था कि वहाँ पे काइंड ऑफ वुमेन बाहर नहीं आते थे, मतलब ऐसा इन्वायरमेंट था कि उनको एक तरीके से प्रमोट करने के लिए, जैसे उसमें जैसे आपने ऐड का बताया व्हाई शुड बॉयज हैव ऑन द, तो उस एस्पेक्ट से
Yeah, so they showed Activa as a symbol of freedom कि you would become independent. अब आपको घर से बाहर जाने के लिए हर बार अपने भाई की या पापा की या फ्रेंड की वेट नहीं करनी है क्योंकि जाएगा. You become independent in your life. You can drive and just have your life. So you have to define your customers and then use them. ऐसी और whatever product you are, you have to, it could be any type of attributes. But if you don't identify them, you would not understand your customer. फिर आप, और जब अंडरस्टैंड नहीं होगा तो फिर एड कैसे बनाओगे? व्हाट विल यू थे? मैसेज क्या होना चाहिए आपका? दैट ऑल हैज टू बी ड्रिवन फ्रॉम योर मार्केट रिसर्च बाय ऑब्जर्विंग योर customers. Let's like try to understand day in a life of a customer. You have to visualize the customer in your eyes, in front of your eyes. कि हाँ, ये मेरा कस्टमर है, ये ऐसे जीता है, इसका ये घर है, यहाँ रहता है, ये पहनता है, ऐसा बोलता है. लैंग्वेज अनदर क्राइटेरिया. एक्टिवा के कस्टमर्स की लैंग्वेज क्या है? क्या वो हिंदी बोलते हैं? क्या वो इंग्लिश बोलते हैं? क्या वो रीजनल लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं? इज इट अ क्राइटेरिया या इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, सब तरह के लोग एक्टिवा खरीदते? बताओ, इज लैंग्वेज अ क्राइटेरिया? तो इसका इम्पैक्ट कहाँ आएगा? आपकी एडवर्टाइजमेंट इंग्लिश में होनी चाहिए कि हिंदी में होनी चाहिए? जो आपके कस्टमर की लैंग्वेज शुड नो.
हिंदी में होनी चाहिए.
चैनल्स तो रीजन वाइज टारगेट होता है, जिस रीजन में
मतलब अगर लोग ही टारगेट करें तो ये तो प्रेफर करेंगे. अगर एक्टिव ग्लोबल प्रोडक्ट बनाए
या नहीं, मैं आप, हाँ, सो यू हैव टू थिंक कि लैंग्वेज. एंड कई बार ये नहीं होता कि फॉर एग्जांपल फॉर सम प्रोडक्ट्स यू वुड deliberately keep it English, not that people don't understand other language, but maybe you want to signify show that this has some relationship to education or to your preferred language of communication. Any questions? This?
मतलब जेनेरिक सा क्वेश्चन है जैसे एक कंपनी उसने एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया डिफरेंट मार्केट के लिए सपोज जैसे टाइड है अगर टाइड जैसे जिस मार्केट रीजन को टारगेट कर रहा है तो वही टाइड कंपनी एक और प्रोडक्ट बनाती है जो ऊपर मतलब लाइक जैसे टाइड लोअर मिडिल क्लास को टारगेट कर रहे हैं वैसे वो सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट बनाती है जो हाई मिडिल क्लास को टारगेट करना चाहिए तो वो मतलब गुड स्टेप है कंपनी वाइज की ये कंपनी मल्टीपल टारगेट्स करे इंस्टेड ऑफ फोकसिंग
ऐसे करके टोयोटा और लेक्सस टोयोटा
तो आपका वो सस्ता रेड वाला
So उसमें देखो it's a very good question and it's not easy to answer, right? You can do it if you think उसमें उस केस में क्या होता है if customers okay let me ask you a question before I answer this question for you. एलन सोली शर्ट पहन देखा है आपने? ओके. पीटर इंग्लैंड, यू हर्ड ऑफ पीटर इंग्लैंड? पार्क एवेन्यू सुना है ब्रांड? पार्क एवेन्यू कौन सी कंपनी बनाती है? यू नो? आदित्य बिरला. लुई फिलिप, वेन्यूजन. तो ऑल दीज ब्रांड्स एंड ये सारे सीक्वेंस में है इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉस्ट. Like it starts with Peter England and then goes up to Venues and Louis Philippe and maybe more. 99% of the customers do not know the manufacturer name, that it's same company which manufactures all. What do they know? आप कोई खरीद के बोलते कौन सी शर्ट लाए हो? लुई फिलिप या एलन सोली या वैन यूजन. They don't know name. So your branding is not, you're building a separate brand, a separate identity. So in that case you can do Hindustan Unilever. So टाटा लिप्टन टी भी इनकी है, टाटा की है, एंड देन दे हैव रेड लेबल और वन ऑफ दीज ब्रांड्स, राइट? ऐसे ही एरियल और ओके एरियल और व्हील है या टाइड है, वन ऑफ दीज. सो दिस इज अ अप मार्केट प्रोडक्ट ऑफ HUL एंड व्हील इज अ लोअर मार्केट प्रोडक्ट. एंड दूसरा जो कॉम्पिटिटर है PNG, उनका कौन सा है? सर्फ एक्सेल. सॉरी उल्टा बोल गया. एरियल इज ऑफ PNG. इनका सर्फ एक्सेल और टाइड और उनका सर्फ एक्सेल और व्हील. So what to answer your question, if you can create a very clear separate identity, you can sell in both. But you can't have say Maruti 50 लाख की गाड़ी नहीं बेच सकती. Nobody will buy it. People will always buy a BMW if they have to spend 50 lakhs. Yeah. Because when you buy a car, you are not buying a brand name, you are buying a company. आप ये नहीं डिसाइड करते कि मेरे को रिट्स लेना है या ऑल्टो लेना है, वो भी करते हो बट दैट्स अ सेकेंडरी. उससे पहले डिसाइड करते हो मेरे को मारुति की कार लेनी है या Hyundai की लेनी है. सो इन सम इंडस्ट्रीज इट कैन वर्क वेयर योर कंपनी नेम डजंट मैटर. द डिसीजन क्राइटेरिया इज नॉट कंपनी नेम बट इट कुड बी अवेलेबिलिटी. जब आप सर्फ खरीदने जाते हो, इन मोस्ट केसेस आप ब्रांड डिसाइड करके नहीं जाते कि मेरे को, या साबुन लेने जाते हो या टूथपेस्ट, यू गो एंड यू वांट टू बाय अ टूथपेस्ट बट यू डोंट गो गया अच्छा मेरे को पेप्सोडेंट ही लेके आना है. अगर पेप्सोडेंट नहीं मिलेगा तो यू विल बाय एनीथिंग विच इज अवेलेबल. यू वोंट ड्राइव 10 किलोमीटर टू बाय पेप्सोडेंट इफ इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल नियर बाय. सो योर डिसीजन क्राइटेरिया इज अवेलेबिलिटी versus car versus admission in a college versus hospital where you want to get treated. So all have different things. Depending on what matters to your customer, you can play with that. And second, it's also a costly affair. Like if you want to build two separate brands, you almost have to spend double amount of money to build Ariel and Wheel separately. information. These are some criteria. Find that. Any other question? Are we good? Okay, so yeah, overall, I'll skip this for now. Lastly, I'll just touch upon some methods in which you can do market research. It starts with, I mean, the most commonly known method is survey, where you can make a questionnaire and ask some people to fill. It could be an online survey, it could be an offline. You print sheets and ask people to tick mark or fill information. So that's one thing. This is, like I said in the beginning, it is used where you have very clear questions which you want answers to for, right? So your question is, which brand do you prefer when you are buying a toothpaste? When your questions are very defined, you can use survey as a method. Second place where you need surveys, where you need large number of responses, right? I need 100 people. So you can't go and interview 100 people. That's very time consuming and money consuming exercise. But you can make an online link and send it to 500 people online and get 100 responses very cheaply and in time. So that's one method. Second is focus group, where you put together some 5 to 10 people and do a group discussion on a topic. So I want to understand why people buy Honda Activa. So I'll go to a college or a workplace and I'll maybe put 20, 10 people together and tell them to discuss which vehicle do they drive, why did they buy that, what are their experiences. So you could do, and then you can observe and make out of it that what matters. Third is in-depth interviews. Is I meet you one on one and interview you over a topic. For say you are a consumer, you have bought a car and I want to understand what kind of car you have bought, so I can interview you for half an hour and understand your behavior. Fourth is observational. I don't talk to you. I sit at a place and observe people. So I sit in a Reliance store and observe how people buy. Agar if I'm doing a research on survey on surf, so I'll sit near the surf. Sorry. So that's the observation where I will not talk to the customer. I'll observe their behavior. Right? I'll sit in a showroom and observe how they buy, why they buy, how they eat, whatever is my requirement. Fourth is secondary. Fifth is secondary research. Secondary is reading on the existing literature. Like I showed you some reports. You can Google a lot of articles. You can read about. You can read reviews, Google reviews, Amazon reviews, and see what customers are talking about. What are their complaints? What are their expectations? So that's secondary research. Secondary means existing data, where you are extracting information from existing data. Then social media monitoring. Again, you can observe, you can join communities of products where people discuss products. There are a lot of communities on different products, beauty products, vehicles, hobbies. So you can see what people are talking about. Online analytics is data analytics. You can maybe, if you have access to Amazon data or Flipkart data or uh, other e-commerce website, you can see what people are buying, how they are buying, what price point they are buying, frequency, all that. Ethnographic research is ethno means humans. So ethnographic research is where you go and talk to people. It's a first-hand information. Like I go and start talking to you about a product, and without telling you that I'm interviewing you, I just start discussing that topic without telling you, and then infer what are your feelings and observations about it. Experimental research is where I design an experiment. It could be I design uh, two deals, say buy two get one free on a shirt and 40% flat off. and I run it in two separate stores and see which performs better. So it'll give me information. So there's an experiment. I'm doing A/B testing, which deal works better, kind of thing. And last is mystery shopping. Mystery shopping is where you behave as a customer and go and start shopping along with other customers and then talk to them and see how they react, right? You don't tell them that if people are buying surf, you also become a surf customer and go and अच्छा कौन सा ले रहे हो, क्यों ले रहे हो, इसमें क्या है, पहले कौन सा आप यूज करते हो, whatever. So it's a mystery shopping kind of, where you don't want to reveal that I'm interviewing you. So it brings more candid feedback on why people are buying. So these are some methods which you can do for doing market research. Of course, when you will start doing, you can, I mean, you can Google about any method, you'll get complete detail on how it is to be executed. All right. Any question, anything on this? Yeah, nobody does all. You can pick up whichever 1, 2, 3, whatever seems more relevant to you. You can start by that.
In the surveys, normally when survey is presented to customers, they find it very boring because they have nothing to get out from that. So उनको engage करना पड़ा एक challenge सा.
Yeah, that's true. So usme, there are various things. One, you can incentivize them. Many times people reward them that if you fill this survey, you get some coupon or you get some access to maybe more discount, or you can create some incentive. Second is normally when people are busy, they don't want to fill it. So if you can create an environment where they have time and they're ready to, say if you have to interview youngsters, maybe in a classroom setting, you can get access to students by talking to a teacher and then give them 10-15 minutes to fill a survey. So you have to create, yeah, you're right. It's tough, especially when a lot of these are happening every day. But you have to create those incentives too. So इसमें ये भी होता है कि because surveys are easy to do, you can send a survey link to 1,000 people. You can send 1,000 emails. So it doesn't cost you time and money. तो 100 में से 50 लोगों ने भी अगर भरा तो I mean that's done. It's okay.
इसमें market research के लिए GPT AI सब इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं.
It can help you if you have clarity on your research purpose, what do you want to do. These tools can help you create some templates. Say maybe you create a prompt that I want to do a market research on whatever is your product, and I want to understand these areas. I want to understand buying pattern of my customers. I want to understand price sensitivity. I want to understand competition. I want to understand uh, frequency of, so whatever are your observation, can you help me create a questionnaire template for this survey? So it will give you a cut, then you can refine it. That much definitely tools can help you. There are a lot of paid tools, very sophisticated for research, but they are.
The investor would be interested to know all the result of these.
Yes. Because this is the basis of your business plan. This will reveal truth. किसी को चाहिए भी कि नहीं चाहिए. You can't. This is not to be done to prove something. This is to be done to really find merit in your idea. Right? So there is. So as a founder, I have no interest in manipulating this. It should be as honest as possible.
This market research activity can be outsourced also to someone. And
Earlier you told because some agency.
Not at a founder stage. So okay, there are. If you don't know this, करना ही नहीं आता, then that's okay. You can take some help, right? You can find somebody who can help you design. But I would say founder at this stage they should do it themselves because it gives them more understanding. They need more understanding. I mean, customer से अगर हम नहीं बात खुद ही नहीं बात करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? Companies outsource it when they have scaled up and their purpose of research is very transactional. So I only want to know which deal is better. Somebody can.
If there is a startup looking for angel investment, and in the pitch, in the investment pitch, that startup allocates certain amount of money for doing the market research. So how would be the reaction of the investor in that case?
But they should have done some market research beforehand. In that pitch, they should have done some research because, I mean, you can do some research. It's not that you need money to start. Some discussion. You can say, okay, I've spoken to 30 customers and these are my findings, but I need more clarification on these questions, which would need me to say I have done research in Chandigarh, but I want to make sure that it is true for all cities. So I want to go to 5 metros and do it. So I need more money to do it. That makes sense. But you cannot start from zero and ask money, right? Maybe you can say I've done research on 50, but I need at least 500 people. So that would need me more time and money. They should done they should have done a little bit of it, which is possible in their resources. All right, so this is it. Next, now you need to define your customers and do MR. Maybe I'll help you. We'll send that assignment in form of that thing. You need to now apply what you have learned and do it for your product.
Can we go through all the slides once again?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll start from the beginning then. Okay, so this was when you're doing startup, you need to prepare certain things. You need to prepare yourself mentally, prepare your family to support you, and of course, prepare your finances.
In this prepare your family. So in this, I find many startups they move on and at one stage the family becomes very heavy. Family have to change the course. So what type of preparation
Yeah, so I did discuss this in the beginning. So they need, I mean, because it's a long and tough journey, they need family support. They can't do without telling them or against them. So ideally, if they're really serious, they should take family on board and they should. So in this, what can they do? One, the first thing they should do is they should take their family on board. They should discuss that I want to do this and I, would need your support. Second, if they have anyone in their family who can help in any form, if there is already an entrepreneur or there is an investor or there is a person who knows that market or somebody can connect you to some people, you can tap your resources in your family in form of money and network, whatever is possible. And third, your family can definitely be with you mentally and physically wherever you are down. They can support you. So it should not be that in the day you are fighting your business and in the evening you are fighting your father. So this is for their startup and their own living. Like if somebody is not planning to take up a job and do they have enough money to if they get it, that's fine. If they don't get it, it might take 6 months. But landlord would not wait for 6 months to get rent, so they have to pay every month. So they should have some runway to sustain. So that amount could vary. Somebody would need 10,000 per month. Somebody would need 20,000 per month. Whatever. If somebody has an education loan, for example, they will have to start paying EMIs immediately after graduation. So whatever is their requirement, somebody might need to support family. I mean, the family, they are the earning members of the family, and so whatever is their situation, they have to arrange. Okay, I want to give myself 2 years to do a startup. So do I have enough money to survive for 2 years? Yeah. Yeah, we discuss about certain things in terms of consuming right content, following right people, focusing on your health, managing your mind, doing a little bit of meditation, uh, valuing time, building good network and relationships, communication skills, observing business. Uh, Today we have less time, but normally in most the session I ask some very common questions like, okay, let me ask one or two. Let's see. You guys know. Uh, how much a moong ki dal would cost per kg?
80 to 100.
No idea. सरसों का तेल.
150, 120.
Okay. So, okay. This glass, how much would this glass cost?
Depends.
How much? हाँ ये पढ़ा है, इसमें क्या डिपेंड है?
कई बार थोड़ा वो डिजाइन बहुत महंगे महंगे सिर्फ ये वाला ग्लास 100
एक ग्लास. अच्छा, इस ग्लास में पानी कितना आता होगा? हाउ मच वाटर डू यू, ये कितना पानी है जो है अभी?
100
हाउ मच वाटर इज इट? 100 ml, 200 ml. Okay, last question. How much is this width of this room? ये रूम कितना वाइड है?
20.
Okay, so I can ask a lot of these questions, like, but do you know what is the purpose of this question? Yeah.
ये जो आंसर हम दे रहे हैं कोई एग्जैक्ट नहीं है और हम अपनी पास्ट मेमोरी से कुछ कंपैरिजन करके ये बोल रहे हैं हमारा जो पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस
I'm testing your observation, right? आपका कॉमन सेंस कितना है, right? अब अगर आप सिर्फ इंस्टाग्राम पे ही जिए हो जिंदगी, तो देन यू कांट डू बिजनेस, राइट? सो हैव टू, डू यू नो, बिकॉज यू कांट learn these things. Nobody can teach you these things. If you have grown up to 20 years without even knowing, आपको लेंथ का अंदाजा नहीं है, आपको घर पे क्या हो रहा है, आपका लिविंग, these are very very common things, and normally what happens is, at least till 20-21 years of age, we don't get involved to do these things. Mostly there is somebody who is doing it on our behalf, but that's a symbol of that you should not do business if you are like that. Yeah. So are you aware about normal things which are happening in your life? So वो कईयों की ना इनहेरिट होते हैं. जब हम दुकान पे जाते हैं ना, कुछ लेते हैं, तो हम, उनका दिमाग वैसे ही चलना है, यार इसकी कमाई कितनी हो. कैन यू एस्टिमेट, जहां से भी आप राशन खरीदते हो, कैन यू अप्लाई सम कॉमन सेंस एंड योर ऑब्जर्वेशन की इसकी मंथली सेल्स कितनी होगी? सम पीपल हैव हैबिट ऑफ ऑब्जर्विंग बिजनेस इन एवरीथिंग.
कटलरी को देख के आइडिया लगाते हैं कि कितने सेल्स है पर पीस
या
लेकिन कितना कमा रहा है.
यस. और मैं आपको बोलूं कि वो सूप जो आप पी के आए हो, क्या उसका आप कॉस्टिंग निकाल सकते हो? अगर आपको 50 का मिला, कितने का पड़ा होगा? कैन यू लिस्ट डाउन क्या क्या खर्चे होते होंगे सूप बनाने में, और कितने कितने होते होंगे? सो दीज आर, so you don't need to answer me. I'm saying these are some symbols that you have in it, you have it in you to be an entrepreneur and observe and understand business, right? So these are some things which, frugality, for example, जो हमने what is frugality? Spending, not conjuicy, but spending it wisely. Can you save money? Can you cut your costs? Right? हर चीज में if you put your time and brain, you can get, I mean, you can save a lot of money. I'm constructing my house. We are constructing our house, and for last 7-8 months, I'm almost buying everything, cement से लेके and taps तक. But it's, I mean, you can save hell lot of money if you are involved in depth. But आप अगर खाली जाओ और अच्छा ये दे दो कितने हुए, people can take you for a ride.
In 2022, we made one conference, theory conference, and we ended up spending around 9 lakh rupees in 1 day in that conference. The same conference we are doing this year also in this number, 22, and this year we are, I think we will be able to manage bigger programs.
Yeah. Your experience has taught you and your involvement. So it's everywhere. Wherever you go deep, you can save a lot of money. Okay, then we spoke about market research. Basically, it's a systematic and an objective way of understanding your customer and your business. It can help you answer many things. It can help you understand competition. It can help you understand interest for your product, about price and affordability, about competitive advantage, any violations, anything to compliance, those kind of things. Then types of market research. One is it can help you identify problems, and second, it can help you solve problems. You can use it at both places. Market research designs, we discussed 3. Exploratory, where you are understanding the broad landscape, and then descriptive and causal. Descriptive is where you have defined questions and you want to answer them. Causal is where you are establishing relationship between some outcome and cause. Okay, then we discussed 2 things: value proposition for your customer, which is, it could be an alleviation of pain or it could be an creation of a gain. Now, pain could be any problem. It could be savings. It could be you make them feel better. It could be some underperforming solution. It could be some negative consequences. It could be risk. So you could, if your product can relieve any of these pain, people will pay you for that. And similarly, gain could be, it could make them happy. It could give better outcomes. It could make their life easier. It could give them a social boost. Anything. Again, they will pay you for that. Now, whatever product you are trying to create, you have to define your problem in this format. You have to define features of the problem. Intensity, is it a critical? Is it a very severe? Is it moderate? Is it good to have kind of thing? What frequency it occurs? Is it a daily problem? Is it a weekly problem? It's once in a year problem. What kind of frequency? Timing, does it occur in winters, in every month, certain months, festivals, weekends? Again, what timing it happens? Forms of the problem, existing solutions, substitutes or alternatives. And these are some snapshots, ways of defining value. Again, it could bucket it into functional value, emotional value, life-changing, social impact. Then second part was, who is your customer? How do you define? Now, they could be defined in various ways. Demographic features like age, education, income, gender. Then location, where they live, urban, poor, cities, villages, hills, plains, India, Russia, developed countries, underdeveloped countries, those kind of things. How do they decide? Process of buying. How do they decide? Do they learn online? Do they ask somebody? Do they buy it by seeing ads? What is important to them? What criteria do they consider when they are buying? Who influencers? Are there any influencers in the decision? And what have they done in the past? What are they buying in the past? And lastly, some methods of market research, qualitative and quantitative. So depending on what you are building, you could deploy some of these methods or all of these methods to know more about customers.
Sometimes they say that the market of this much is this much, and like that.
So that's called TAM, total addressable market. So which is like if there is a product or a problem, what is the total number of people who would be using that product or who would be suffering from that problem, right? Say laptop, for example, if laptop is a product, so I can define market in two ways: one in form of money, second in terms of units. Say, so in terms of units, how many laptops do you think would be sold in Punjab, let's say, in this geography? So then you need to estimate. There is no one formula-based method, but it's a assumptions. Now, my assumption could be typically laptops would be bought by students or office goers, right? Maybe I'll say again, these are assumptions. They can be wrong, so you have to be as close as possible. I'll say maybe 40% laptops are bought by students, maybe 40% are bought by working people, and 20% are bought by miscellaneous, all other category, maybe homemakers or those kind of thing. And then I'll say, okay, how many people? Maybe if there is a population of 100, in a typical 100 population, there would be say, around 10 students, right? There will be at least 30 old people, 70 young people. In 70, there'll be 30 students. So I have to do dicing and slicing of the sample and then say, okay, if there is 100 population, maybe 10 people would be my customer. 10 people are buying. 10 laptops are sold every 100 people. So now if population of Punjab is 3 crores, then if it would be 30 lakh laptops would be sold over a period of a year. So these are, it's called guesstimations. There is a, I mean, it's more practice based thing. There's no art, but the more you do, the better you become at it. And many times you get some online information. For example, you might get a report which gives you how many students are there in Punjab. So you can use such information to further improve your guesstimation. All right, so that's it. I hope it was helpful. Now the key would be to implement it and start doing it. Then maybe if you need any help, we can meet again. Thank you so much, people who are online also. If there are any questions, I can take that. So this assignment which I've prepared, I can maybe improve it a little bit and add more, and we can then send that.